You know, Joe, I wish my Aunt Katrina were alive to hear that introduction. I remember it was a long time ago. I was staying with her for the summer in Dorchester. For those of you from Dot, that would be the St. Mark's Parish. And the Boston police dropped me and Tommy Mulcahy on the front steps of my aunt's house after we had strategically placed an M80 in the trash can outside the Shaman tea stop. And Trina, God rest her soul, looked at me straight in the eye and said, "Seamus, you'll never amount to anything." But I digress. Chairman Garrity, members of the Board of Trustees, President Newhouser, Vice President Talentino, Father Cronigue, members of the Society of St. Edmund, Dr. and Mrs. von der Heyden, Ms. Morse, honored guests on the dais, members of the class of 1974 and alumni here gathered, members of the St. Michael's College faculty and staff, and friends of our graduates, and finally you, that would be you, the class of 2011. It is a real special honor to be asked to address you today. But let me first start with a simple question for you. I know I'm an infidel inside the gate. I now work in New York City, even though I'm from Boston. Go Red Sox. But I digress again. At any rate, a common question that is asked in New York when somebody accomplishes something is, "Hey, who's better than you?" And what's the answer? Nobody. So let me do this again. Hey, who's better than you? Nobody. You got it. You got it. I use the term special honor for several reasons. First of all, it was 37, oh my God, it was 37 years ago, May of 1974, that I was sitting right where you are now, right there. Of course, we were supposed to be sitting outside on the front lawn of the Durek Library, but there had been an 8-inch snowfall the night before, so that made it a bit impractical. You gotta love this Vermont weather. It's either snow or rain or whatever. I recall that our commencement speaker was Howard K. Smith. Now, you probably don't know that name, but your parents certainly do. Mr. Smith was the ABC evening news anchor at the time. I don't remember a single word he said. So I have no grand expectations that 37 years from now, or even 37 days from now, you'll remember a single word I said either. The second reason that it's a special honor for me is that I am able to participate in honoring Donna and Mark von der Heyden for their years of service and leadership at St. Michael's College. I had the privilege of serving on the Board of Trustees together with Mark during his presidency. He certainly kept us on our toes, and he also significantly increased the value of my own diploma these many years later. Congratulations and thank you, Donna and Mark. You will always be special to me. I'd also like to pause and thank 3 individuals. I refer to them as my priest, my professor, and my dean. We also call him the Godfather. Father Ray Doherty, Dr. William Garrett, and Don Sutton. They all came here to join me and to join you in celebrating this important day. I remember meeting each of them about 41 years ago when I was a freshman, and God knows why, but they've stuck with me ever since. God bless you and thank you. I also know many of you in the graduating class and your families, some with some personal connections. Megan Flanagan, the daughter of my good friend Jerry and Judy Flanagan. Megan Cormier, the daughter of Marilyn Cormier, who I endearingly refer to as Mother Superior, for all that she does for St. Michael's College. Bobby Gaglini, the son of a former colleague of mine at Deloitte, Lou Gaglini, and finally my neighbor and friend from McFadden Drive in Wilton, Connecticut, sitting right over there, Shannon Fergus. You go, girl. So for me, as it probably will be for you, St. Michael's is a little bit like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. By the way, 2 of my favorite residents at the Hotel California are my own mother and father, Barbara and Henry Wall. Their guidance, their love, and their affection for me and for St. Michael's, and especially for the Edmondites, is both enduring and remarkable. To this day, for some reason, they think I can do no wrong. It's the oldest son thing. And they remain keenly interested in the life of the college and all who pass through here. In conversations with them yesterday morning, as I do every morning on Sunday at 9:30, they pass their best wishes on to you. As I began to prepare my remarks for today, I thought it would be a good idea to interview a few of you to see what was on your mind. You've heard the advice given to speechwriters before, know your audience. So I spoke with 6 of you. Thank you for your time, by the way. I know you were busy wrapping up exams and papers. I asked a few questions that I hope would give me some insight into what you must be thinking and what you must be feeling right about now. I asked about your most memorable experiences at St. Mike's, your biggest challenges. I asked about your biggest hopes and your biggest fears for the future. Of course, each person had something different, something unique to say. However, there were some common themes that ran through that are probably worth mentioning. First of all, coming to St. Michael's was an intentional act. It was not a fallback position. You came here because you believed that you would have a unique, and what I hope for many of you has turned out to be a life-changing experience. And for most of you, St. Mike's has delivered on your expectations. You spoke more about the people that you met than the book you read or the class that you took. You're confident that the relationships that you built here will last a lifetime. You also spoke about how uncharacteristically close this class is with each other. Very few cliques, very unique. Your most memorable experiences all took place outside the classroom. Now, I know the faculty here might not be thrilled with that comment, but hang on, I'll get to you in a minute. You spoke about service, move, being on a sports team, being an RA, my own fire and rescue, public service, traveling, your junior year abroad. All of these experiences gave you a significant boost to your self-confidence and your self-esteem. And they also gave you a greater appreciation of others, what makes them, and for you, that matter, special. A better insight into others and into the human condition. Your biggest challenge, or at least the one that you mentioned first, was adjusting to college life, doing well academically, getting most out of the experience here. Well, you passed that test, you're here, challenge met, a huge accomplishment that will set you well for the future. And congratulations for that. Speaking of the future, your biggest hopes were that you would have a job that you enjoyed. 2 words, not one. Job, enjoy. You also hope that you will find happiness and fulfillment in whatever you do and whoever you do it with. You look forward to the day when you will have your own family, and you seem to be less willing than my class to sacrifice that goal for personal gain or success. As my Irish countrymen would say, slanted. And finally, in characteristic St. Michael's fashion, you hope to be able to give back, to make your own corner of the world a better place, one person at a time, than you found it. God bless you for that. Your fears were fairly predictable, I must say, but from my perspective, probably a bit overstated. Not surprisingly, you are concerned about the future and what it holds for you, the current economy, the job market, that you'll find meaningful work which will allow you to accomplish your goals, whatever those might be. Once you get that job, you don't want to be bored or get stuck. You also expressed a bit of concern that you didn't have a solid plan, that you were unsure of where all this would take you in the long term. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had the very same concerns when I was sitting out there 37 years ago. It seems that the old adage, the more things change, the more they stay the same, is relevant, at least in this case. Let me offer a few reflections on those comments of yours, give you some assurances, and finally close with a bit of what admittedly is unsolicited advice. First of all, in my totally biased view, the value of a liberal arts education at St. Michael's College, the total experience, has never been more relevant than it is today. Never. As my own career heads into its twilight years, I've recently been asked about my most relevant experiences, educational and otherwise, that contribute to my success, that help me to be successful in the terms that I defined. Despite my graduate education at the master's level and all the experiences that went with it, with apologies to the Spartans at Michigan State University, it's a lay-down hand. My St. Michael's educational experience taught me how to learn. The rigor of the classroom, the expectations of my professors, the repeated challenges and inquiries into my line of thinking. And nothing is more important in today's world, given the pace of change, than a passion for learning and critical thinking. Irrelevance is an ugly alternative. My experience here enabled me to change my career not once, but several times, as it has led me to the realization that the longer I am alive, the less I actually know. And I am not only okay with that, I actually love it. Every place I go, every new person I meet, and every circumstance I find myself in is an opportunity to learn, and I learned how to learn right here in Colchester, Vermont. And you know what? You're about to embark on a similar journey. You should do so with every confidence that you now have a unique educational experience that has prepared you better than you could have ever possibly imagined for whatever lies ahead. My firm hires 50,000 graduates a year from the most prestigious universities around the world, including St. Michael's. I have personally hired many St. Michael's graduates over the years. I can tell you, you are among the best prepared graduates in the world, and you are in for the ride of your life. Now, a word about this plan thing that I heard a lot about. Everyone these days seems to be obsessed with their plan or the fact that they don't have a plan. Let me tell you something. When I graduated from St. Mike's and headed off into the world, my plan did not call for meeting my wife of 34 years at Michigan State. It didn't call for me to relocate to Boston to accommodate a career opportunity for her, only to reply to a job advertisement in the Boston Sunday Globe that would lead to my own 27-year career here at Deloitte. Or that we would adopt 2 children from South Korea. Or tragically, that I would be thrust into the middle of the events of September 11th, 2001 and play some small role in the recovery of our firm, our city, our country, and most important to me, in the lives of the number of victims' families. I have no plan for that at all. It is often said that life is what happens to you in between the time you're making all of these plans. Truer words were never spoken. I am convinced, as I am standing here in front of you today, that it was my St. Michael's experience that prepared me for all these things. So take heart from someone who's been there. You are good and ready to go. Okay, what commencement address would be complete without, a few words of advice, right? Here it comes. This is the part you get to forget. Not that I'm any more qualified to give it to you than anything else, but a few things I've learned over the years that have stuck with me. You can use them or lose them. Things that others have taught me or conclusions that I've reached. First and foremost, find your passion. Take whatever time it takes. Don't settle. Keep looking until you find it, because it might take you a while. Once you find it, you will enjoy the satisfaction that comes with real success. Until you do, it may all seem a little bit hollow. When faced with a choice to step in or step away from a situation, step in. Whether it's an injustice you see, or a person in need, or a situation that cries out for your intervention. Suspend your own fears, your own insecurities, and move forward. Be courageous, speak up, and take action. Live your life as if it will appear on tomorrow's edition of the Wall Street Journal. That way you have nothing to hide. As we all walk through life, there are many temptations to take shortcuts, to compromise our values, what we know is right. It's been said that following the path of least resistance is what makes rivers and men crooked. Your family has raised you well. You know the difference between right and wrong. Always choose the former, never choose the latter. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. There is a lot of talking going on out there in the media, in the bars, in the streets, you name it. People love to hear themselves talk. But there is very precious, little, high-quality, empathetic listening going on these days. Whether it's in Washington, whether it's here, whether it's at home. You may have even found yourself in conversations where you were only half listening to what the other person was saying. The other half of your attention was preparing a response. I'm going to let you in a little secret. Your mind can only fully concentrate on one thing at a time. You missed half the conversation. So press your lips together real hard, because your ears work better that way. Finally, as you enjoy your own success down the road a bit, be sure to remember where you came from and who helped you get there. Your family, your friends, the faculty and staff here at St. Mike's. As you climb, so must you lift. I am a firm believer that helping others be successful first is what leads to your own lasting version of success. Let me conclude with a brief story. My work puts me in some unique places and unique circumstances. Some good, some not so good. But I always come away learning something. Back a number of years ago, a partner and a friend of mine lost her valiant fight with breast cancer. She was a brilliant, gifted, and courageous woman. A mother, a wife, and a consummate professional. She was a real gem. Her name was Ellen Gabriel, as in the angel Gabriel. Probably not a coincidence. I had been witness to her hard-fought journey much of the latter years of her life, and her passing was a real blow to me. After her funeral, I told her husband, Norm, that I would pack up her office and get her stuff back over to his house. A fairly straightforward task, or so I thought. During the course of packing up her belongings, books, pictures, tchotchkes, and the like, I came across a torn and tattered piece of paper underneath her ink blotter. I took it out and read it, and it contained words that not only more fully explained her views on her life and her situation, but have guided me in my life every day ever since. It's not original. It was written by the ethicist Michael Josephson, and it's entitled, What Will Matter? Here goes. Ready or not, someday it will all come to an end. There will be no more sunrises, no minutes, no hours or days. All the things that you collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Your wealth, your fame, and temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It will not matter what you own or what you owed. Your grudges, resentments, frustrations, and jealousies will all finally disappear. So too, your hopes, your ambitions, plans, and to-do lists will expire. The wins and losses that once seemed so important will fade away. It won't matter where you came from or what side of the tracks you lived on in the end. It won't matter whether you were beautiful or brilliant. Even your gender or skin color will be absolutely irrelevant. So what will matter? How will the value of your days be measured? What will matter is not what you bought, but what you built. Not what you got, but what you gave. What will matter is not your success, but your significance. What will matter is not what you learned, but what you taught. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage, or sacrifice that enriched, empowered, or encouraged others to emulate your example. What will matter is not your competence, but your character. What will matter is not how many people you knew, but how many people will feel a lasting loss when you are gone. What will matter is not your memories, but the memories of those who loved you. What will matter is how long you are remembered, by whom, and for what. Living a life that matters doesn't happen by accident. It's not a matter of circumstance. It's a matter of choice. My sincere prayer for each and every one of you is that you will choose a life that matters, however you define it. May God bless and keep you all the days of your life.